Hello, learners. I'm Dr. Naveen Arora. Today, in this business research methods or research methodology class, we'll discuss about sample, right? So, first, we need to understand what is a sample. We often listen about this word sample, sampling, and everything else, but it is very important to understand what is a sample. And further, we also need to understand why we need to go for sample. So let's take some practical examples in our day-to-day life and understand what is sample and why we go for sampling. Just take an example from your day-to-day life. We go to buy maybe wheat, right? So I want to buy a gunny bag of wheat. I go to a shop. I ask to the shopkeeper, so which different varieties of wheat do you have? The shopkeeper tells me that, okay, I have these three varieties and all these gunny bags are there. So what would I do? Would I just buy a brand or a type of wheat by seeing the packaging? Perhaps not. What I would do, I may be going for taking a small part of wheat from each gunny bag. So I'll take a small part from one gunny bag. I'll check it. I'll observe it. I'll evaluate it. Again, I'll take some more um, wheat from another bag. Again, I'll repeat the process. And again, I'll take out wheat from the third bag and repeat the process observation of wheat and everything else. So what actually I am doing? Actually, this is the process of sampling that I am doing. I am taking out a small portion of the out of the whole population, out of the whole quantity, and then after observing, after evaluating this small portion, which is called sample, I decide that the wheat in the whole gunny bag would be the same quality as the sample, right? So this is one of the main objectives of sampling and the process of sampling as well. So in our day-to-day life, we actually take samples of a lot of things, and the objective of those samples is actually deciding about the whole population. I may take a small portion of rice and then cook it. And then depending on that, I would decide whether to buy 50 kg of that rice or not. Similarly, I may buy a small pouch of shampoo, use it, and depending on quality, I would decide that, okay, if the quality of this shampoo in pouch is good, it means if I would buy a 500 ml bottle of the same shampoo, same brand, it would also behave the same as the sample. So I would decide about my purchase about with that shampoo depending on the sample. So in research, again, the same thing is there. We actually take a small portion, small subset out of the larger population or larger portion. We observe it, we evaluate it, and on the basis of that, we decide that how the whole population would behave, would perform, or would actually look like, right? So sample is a subset or small some part of a large population. So it is a subset or some part of a large population. And sampling is the process of using a small number of items or parts of a larger population to make conclusions about the whole population, right? So in sampling, actually, we are making the conclusion about the whole population just by observing, just by seeing, just by evaluating the sample, right? So this is what sample and sampling is all about. More important question is why sampling? As I have already discussed that one of the reason of sampling is that we conclude about the whole population depending on the sample. But why don't we actually observe the whole population? We could have even observed the whole population. Why just take a small sample? Go for the evaluation, go for the assessment of the whole population. But we can understand that it is practically challenging. It may be practically challenging, and that is why we don't observe, we don't analyze the whole population and take a small sample rather. So one important reason why we go for sampling is cost, time, and manpower saving. We actually save on cost, we actually save on manpower, we actually save on time if we assess, if we evaluate sample rather than the whole population. If we go for evaluating or assessing the whole population, collecting data or information from the whole population, that would have a lot of cost, that would require a lot of time and in fact manpower as well. There is one process or one thing in which we actually collect data, we actually observe, or we actually evaluate, or we actually study the whole population. That one practice is census. That census is done after every 10 years. So that is done by government generally. So in census, rather than population, rather than sample, the whole population is studied, right? So that is one practice where it is done. But that, as it is a very costly affair, it takes a lot of time and manpower. So it cannot be done frequently, easily, and not any company or any individual can do that. It is the governments that can do that. So sampling actually helps saving cost, time, and manpower. Good sample represents population. This is actually very important. A sample is supposed to be a good sample. So what is the definition of good sample? We'll discuss this in our next slides, but it is very important that the sample should be a good sample. There are some criteria for a good sample, but if a sample qualifies with that criteria, with those criteria, that sample becomes a good sample. And that good sample actually represents population. So we can conclude, we can say something about the population depending on sample, but if only that sample is a good sample. Let's take back the example of, I'll just take an example, then we'll continue with the research and population as well. I take a small sample out of a bag of wheat. So the shopkeeper is not an honest person. What he does, he, on the top of the bag, he keeps some good wheat, and then at the bottom or below that, all the wheat is spoiled or bad, right? So what would happen if I take a sample from the top only, and then I conclude about the wheat depending on that sample? Maybe my conclusion about the whole uh, bag of wheat might not be correct. So I need to take a good sample, So in this case, in this type of case where the different portions or different parts may have different types of uh, individuals or different quality of product, then I am supposed to take sample from different portions or different parts of that bag. So if I take sample from different parts of that bag, maybe that would be a good sample, and that would help me to conclude about the population in a better way, right? So by sampling, if we take a good sample, it represents population. Sample is easy to analyze because data is limited. So with that limited data, we can go ahead with some uh, coding of that data, then entry of that data in a system, and then analysis of that data. So with a limited number of sample, limited data, we can analyze that data to get some uh, information. However, if the data is too much, if we don't use sample, we take we study the whole population, then it would be difficult to analyze that data, right? Next, why sampling? Less probability of mistakes or misinformation. If we take data from the whole population, there are more chances that at times, because of certain reasons, there could be some mistakes, there could be some misinformation, there could be some individuals who are collecting data, our team, maybe they are not giving the correct answers, they are not getting the correct answers, they are not actually collecting the data. So there could be a lot of things, there could be a lot of mistakes or misinformation that might be there in case of collecting data from the whole population, because it would be a large practice, so control will be less. However, if we go for a sample, it would be a shorter process, it would be a practice that would require less manpower, and then we can control it on a better way. So we can control it in a better way if we are using a sample, then there will be less probability of mistakes or misinformation. So these are the reasons why we go for sampling. And one of the most important reason is because sample actually represents population, but if it is a good sample. So now the characteristics or criteria for a good sample. Which sample is supposed to be a good sample? A sample should be of appropriate size. This is one of the most important criteria for a sample to be a good sample, to qualify for a good sample. It should be an appropriate size. Again, what is the criteria for appropriate? Though there are some formulae to decide the sample size, but in general, we can just understand with some examples. Some small examples, we can understand what can be said to be an appropriate size. For example, if I want to conclude about the whole country, India, the population is 130 crore, and I take a sample of 200 individuals. So if I use some formulae or otherwise, I can also understand that a very small sample size in comparison to whole population is not an appropriate size. India's population 130 crore and my sample size is just 200. So this small sample would not probably be a good representation for the whole population of India, right? So that is not an appropriate size. However, if I want to conduct a research in an organization where 1000 employees are there, and then I collect data from 200 employees, that would be an appropriate size in general without going for any formulae. We can decide on the basis of formulae, but otherwise as well, for a 1000 population or a study of the individuals of 1000, if I take a sample of 200 individuals, that might be an appropriate size. However, for 130 crore, 200 might not be. And another example, if I have just 50 employees in an organization and I want to have a study on that, maybe 20 is a good enough size, good enough sample size. So appropriate size actually depends on too many characters, too many factors, but one of the most important is the size of the whole population actually. A good sample should represent population properly, right? So a good sample is one that represents population properly. As I have discussed already in my wheat example, that if it is a good example, it would actually represent population properly. So we need to actually, we may need to go for sampling from different areas, different portions, different parts, and so on. It should be unbiased, very important. I should not take only those as sample. I should not choose only those individuals or those people as sample to whom I am biased. So while collecting data, while choosing samples, I should be unbiased. should be collected using suitable sampling techniques. There are certain sampling techniques, probability sampling techniques, and non-probability sampling techniques. So depending on the type of study, depending on whatever we are going to do, we need to choose an appropriate or suitable sampling technique. It is always considered that probability sampling techniques are considered better than non-probability sampling techniques. Probability sampling techniques would give a better idea about the population. However, it is actually challenging to collect data using probability sampling techniques. That is why sometimes the researchers use non-probability samplings like convenience sampling and so on. Those will be discussed in later classes. Should have willingness and capability to respond. This is also very important. Our samples should have willingness and capability to respond. Both the factors are very important, and we may say equally important. If our samples don't have capability to respond, they don't have the answers of our questions, they don't know what we are actually asking, so they might be giving us wrong information, or they might not be able to give us the information that we are looking for. Or if they would not have willingness to respond, still they might not answer some of our questions, or again they might give us the wrong information. So it is also very important that our samples should have willingness and capability to respond. That's all for this lecture. We'll discuss more about business